Welcome back to Light Talk, where everyone can be themselves and tell their own unique paranormal and spiritual experiences with a safe and supportive community. If you have a story you'd like to share, email me at lighttalk423@gmail.com. And while you're at it, click on that there like, share, and subscribe buttons. All right, welcome to the show. And we've got a guest today, and I'm just going to say her name because I know her name very, very well, as she is my sister. So I am going to welcome Wendy Post back to the show. And so, welcome to the show, Wendy.
Hey, good to be back again. How are you doing, Dana?
I'm doing good, doing good. Hey, we're having so much
Great,
fun here
great,
on the
great.
show. So, why don't you kind of introduce yourself to us a little bit and tell us what you do, and we'll start in.
All right. Well, my name is Wendy Post. I am a Reiki master and I have been doing Reiki since 2021 and I am off to starting my business and trying to get that growing. So it's been kind of busy working on that, but it's been most enjoyable and most rewarding. So, um, I guess to start out with just helping people with Reiki has been such a delight because people who have problem and once they experience the Reiki energy going through them, it makes a world of difference with them, and they go away with the less pain, less anxiety, and it is just amazing. So doing Reiki for people is just one of my, I guess, best things that I've ever done, and it's my calling of what I'm supposed to be doing here on Earth. So it has been a joy. So,
Can you tell us a little bit
yep.
about some of the experiences you've had while doing Reiki?
Some of the experiences that I've had when I was working on a client, I've had messages actually coming through and giving me messages for this client. So it was pretty cool because it was like I had no idea what these messages meant, what they, who and why and where and the what and all that. But the client knew exactly what they were for. So it was kind of really cool to be able to bring those messages through to give to this client. And it was just really satisfying to have him go, oh yeah, that's right. I got that. And then I've had another client where we had both actually connected so well together that we seen the same thing. So it was just like angels had come in and brought in the light, and the light was just coming down into both of us. And then as my hands were on this person, you could just see the energy flowing through, and it was just this golden, like oil-like energy just flowing out of my hands. And it's just so amazing when you look at this and you're like, that's energy. That's the life force going through her. And she is going to feel this. I'm feeling this. And it's just, wow. And then after the session, my client was saying that the pain that she came in with was gone. And it was just nice to be able to see that I was able to go in and help her with that and just make the rest of her, that pain go away and she could enjoy life the way she's supposed to. So yeah, that was totally amazing. And it's great to be able to do that. And I never have the same experience with two different or the same clients. I'm sorry. Having each client is a different experience. Just whether I'm getting messages or not, but just the flow of the energy going through each client is so different and so unique, and it's amazing. I just people are like, what is Reiki? And it's like, well, it's energy healing. And they're like, I don't understand that. And it's like, well, let's just put it this way. Um, Energy is all around us. And when I call it in from the universe, it'll go through me and out of my hands and onto my client, which means they're getting pure energy because it's coming through the universe and into them. So it goes through and it just takes care of what is needed at that time in their life to resolve that issue. And it's a beautiful thing. I mean, it's just amazing. So, and then, well, with you, when I had Reiki, when I attuned you to the second degree of Reiki, then you actually had an experience that you I guess you can share that because you experienced that, so you can explain what happened when the energy, when you were attuned to that energy. So I'll let you explain that part of it.
Yeah. So to let the audience know, Wendy had her first class, and she asked me to be part of it to kind of help, support her and everything. And I was all up for it. And we were during the class, we each got a chance to Reiki one of the other students in there. And when I was doing the Reiki, I got down to what her solar plexus. And when I got to that point, I got really like nauseous. I got very dizzy. I was about ready to toss it. I wasn't sure if I was going to pass out or what was going to be happening, but I was like, I got to sit down. So I had to sit down and then it finally went away and everything. But yeah, that was quite an experience. And that was part of the energy coming through, huh?
Right, right. And it was showing that you are an empath because you were feeling that person's issues that were going on. So, yeah, making you sit down, disconnecting your energy from her was the best thing that we could have done for you because that was pretty strong when you had to sit down because you were feeling nauseous. So that was a good thing of disconnecting that energy from you. So,
Yeah. And it
but
taught
yeah,
us
it's
both a lesson, I think, is, before you do Reiki, ground yourself and protect
yes.
yourself, you know?
Yeah, it was
Just a lesson. I mean, we all learning.
it was quite the experience. It was fun. Let's see what else we have.
So when you're doing Reiki and you're feeling the energy coming through, how do you feel? I mean, where is that energy coming from? You say the universe, but is it coming from like their guides or um their higher
It's
self,
the
or
energy
where do
from
you
the
feel?
universe. Yeah, it's just from the universe. It comes down. And when I'm calling upon Reiki to come through me and setting my attention for Reiki, the energy that's in the universe will come down through me and then it comes out through my hands. So when I'm giving Reiki to clients, my hands will just heat up like you would not believe. And I've had clients tell me this is the best feeling ever because it's like you start to get cold and all of a sudden your hands move to that spot and it just warms you up like a nice electric blanket. I've had quite a few people say that just feels so good. And then they just feel that energy flowing through their body and it's just amazing. So that's kind of the way Reiki works. It just flows through where it needs to be. And when you set that intention to bring that energy in, then it comes in and it just goes where it's needed. So yeah, it
So
is it is amazing.
so when you're saying is coming from the universe, so I'm trying to figure out when it comes from the universe, it's coming from either source. I mean, where in the universe is this coming from? I mean, is what is the healing energy? You
Um,
see what I'm saying?
I guess it would be because we're all connected. So I guess it would be the main source of energy would be main source. So if you want to call it God or the Omega or whatever you want to call it, that would probably be where it's coming from because it is um, coming from the universe is where that source is. So when you are bringing it in, then that's where it's coming from. So
Okay,
yeah, but
sounds
it's
good.
it's amazing. It just And with Reiki, it is so neat because I've had to work on some pets, which has been really a delight to do that because pets will take in energy. They don't even block anything out. It's like, oh yes, give me this energy. I love it. And with working with one of my little furry clients, you could just see from where they started to after Reiki has gone through their body, they've just become so energized, so full of life again. And then they just go and go and go. And then when the issues start building up again, I'll get a call and say, Can you can you send some more? And it's like, you bet. And then it just gets them going again and just keeps them going. So, and then I had some other little furry clients that I've had to send Reiki to just to calm down the energy and to keep them calm with a new pet coming into the house. So it's just keeping them calm so that the other new pets can, meet up with them and get acquainted with everything going on in the household and it helps. I mean, it helps with so many different things. So you could do animals, you could do pets, you could do plants, you could Reiki your food, you Reiki your date book, you Reiki, I mean, you just Reiki anything. And it just that energy will connect with it and just go where you need it to go and just helps you out so much because, we're all full of energy. So energy connects with energy and it just works. Yeah.
I know when you have
So,
done Reiki on me, you had, if you could probably explain this more than I, but you had some visions when you did Reiki on me. So can you explain
oh
what you
gosh.
saw and the lightning
Trying
and
to
the little,
remember what visions I seen. I don't always remember all the visions because
yeah,
it was meant for you. So
yeah.
not all of the visions I remember, but
No, that's cool. You had like a lightning strike, and then you had like little lines of like on the radio, it has like the volume and it has like all those different
yeah.
level
Yeah, it was
things
more like a gosh, it's gonna date us, but
volume.
when Channel 6 used to go off the air and you had that fuzziness and wow, we're old.
We're old.
No. It's just that staticness in the air with that electricity going through. That's kind of what I felt with you. It was just that energy that just moving energy alive and just yeah, firing through you. So that was kind of fun and interesting. And it's like, wow.
And that was at the
Oh,
beginning. So she was just starting out
yeah,
when this all
yeah.
came about.
I was in my office the other day and I was gonna turn up my speaker that I have in there. And as my hands were reaching around my speaker went off. I mean, it just turned it off. And I'm like, what just happened? And then all of a sudden it popped back on and it was on again. So I'm like, ooh, too much energy going on.
Much
Because it
energy.
actually
Yeah.
turned on and off my speaker. So that was kind of interesting. I'm like, wait a minute, I still need this. Don't be turning things off on me. It was fun. But little
Yeah.
things like that, it keeps you going and you just, I don't know, just each client is a delight, like I said, because everybody's different. Everybody has a different need for Reiki and the way it just works, it's just magical. It really is just magical because because I'm just a conduit of it. It goes through me and into that client and it takes care of the issue. So it's been fun.
So have you practiced any on plants and all to see how what kind of energy and what kind of vision you may get from them?
Well, with the plants, we started growing a little vegetable garden, and I haven't had time to really play with that. And now that, it's wintertime and it's snowing, I'm going to be doing that this year. So I really want to do um, the Reiki on the plants and I have my little fish that I have and I do Reiki on him. And so it's fun because he just kind of sits still like, "Ooh, what was that?" And so it's fun watching animals because they just, like I said, they're like absorbing it and they just love that feeling of just that calmness that it gives them. And I don't know, it's the calmness that you see. And then they relax and then they just go on their way like, thanks, hey, I'll come back for more later. And so it's,
Describe more of what your fish was doing. I mean, so you have a goldfish, and
I do.
how does this little how does this goldfish react to
Well,
you say he
I
calms
kind of did
down?
something goofy with my poor little fish. I named him Fish, so here is Fish. And I wanted to give him some new toys to play with in his tank. So I took out the old and I brought in the new. Well, little did I know that that stresses Fish out. So you got to do it very slowly. So I took out the new and left one piece in. and then brought in some of the old stuff so it'll be easily, it wasn't so stressful. But while he was just going nuts, because he would just swim around in his little tank, and I'm like, holy cow, what did I do to my poor fish? So I put my hands on the side of the tank and I asked him for permission, and I sent him some Reiki, and his swimming around nervously and very anxious and just not sure what to do, where to go because everything's new. He started just calming down, started just swimming a little bit easier and just totally relaxed. And then he was kind of back to his own self again. So it does work. And then it's amazing when you
Very
see
cool.
that happen because now it's like, oh gosh, what did I do to my poor fish? So I had to help him. And since he told me I could do that, then I went ahead and calmed him down, put his familiar toys back into the tank and stuff. So
So
it does work. It does help him.
how did you hear him say it was okay?
You just get like a knowing when you ask them. It's like, would you like some Reiki? You just get this knowing of the yes or you get the no on it. So if you get a yes or a no, you have to abide by what they want. So when he was feeling stressed, you could just see him kind of looking at you like, yes, please. So here we go, helping fish, since I stressed the poor thing out. So yeah, and
That's
now
funny.
he's happy. He's getting bigger and bigger. So I know he's doing well. So
And
yeah.
you do this long distance also with the animals and
Yes,
people.
yes.
You do long
Actually,
distance.
with all the pets that I've done, except for my own, they've all been long distance. So the one client is in the east, so he was being taken care of long distance because there's no way I could jump on an airplane, get over there, and then come back. And so it's just easier to do long distance. So, and I could do long distance with anybody, with people, plants, animals, whatever. It can go long distance. In fact, there was a client that I had who was on his way to Ireland, and he was like, I need some Reiki. And I'm like, what flight are you on? So we got his flight number and I sent it to him while he was in the plane, and he was just kind of relaxing and enjoying his flight to Ireland. So, and
Nice.
it's so funny because
Nice.
he's like, man, I just relax so much when I'm on. Just you can feel it. So when he's feeling this energy coming in, it just relaxes him and took out that anxiety
Awesome.
and just that, that comfort that he gets. So that helped him get off, go through the plane ride that he was on.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
yeah.
Good deal.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then hands-on, like I said, people love that because my hands do heat up, and then with different experiences with different people, it's always fun to hear what happened. It's like, oh, this happened to me or that happened to me, and it's like, yeah, I felt that. I felt it. We got you covered. So
Yeah.
it's really, really kind of cool on how Reiki works. So
So you've also gone through some card reading classes with Kim Nichols along with me.
yes.
And how is that coming along? I mean, are you wanting to do some professional readings or are you just going to
Well,
have that as a side? Where are you at with that one?
as of right now, I still have one more class that I would like to take with her. So right now, if anybody is needing a card reading, I just do that free because I am still in that practice mode. So I'm not charging anything for that. I am just having fun. And if they want to do a reading, then I will be glad to do that. But as professionally right now, no, that's not going. But in the future, yes, definitely. That would be one of the things on my list. So
Yeah. And,
yeah,
to just kind of throw it out there with everybody with this, I am doing card reads and it's on my website and that's in the notes below. So go ahead and go to the website and I'm sure Wendy will have something for her that we'll be putting in the notes below too. So you could
yeah,
contact her. And if you want any Reiki or any practice card reads
right,
or what with her.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have had an EVP done in your house.
Yes.
how did that come about and
Oh my
how did it
God.
end?
Um, we have actually, my kids, when they were home, they have experienced quite a few things while they were living here when they were younger. And so we weren't too sure what was going on. So we actually had the Ghostbusters coming in and they did a lot of readings and stuff on the house. They, kind of did their things at night. And they found, oh gosh, one of my best friend has her husband passed. So he actually came through and gave a message through their recordings. And when I was listening to it, I'm like, I don't know what this means. I don't know who this is for. And then as she was listening to it, she goes, "Oh my God, that's my husband." And I'm like, "What?" It's like, wow, he's following you here. So we have him in the house every now and then. We heard the name Jim come through, and I'm like, Jim, who is Jim? And then I got to remembering that was my grandpa's name, was Jim. And we called him Jim, but his real name was Jasper. But we always called him Jim, because that was his name that he went by. So hearing Jim come through was just really heartwarming because that grandpa was there with us and he was saying, "Hey, we're here." And
Yeah.
so that was kind of cool. They did find that there is a little boy. I think there was two boys and a little girl spirit that kind of runs through the house and kind of hangs out with people. And so every now and then we have to go through and cleanse the house and get everybody out and make sure that they've all gone home again and they're, doing their thing on the other side. And it was time to go home and stop
Yeah.
bothering my kids. So, because the one was a little chit chatter, he would come into my daughter's room and sit on the end of her bed when she was in, oh gosh, I think junior high, middle school, whatever you call it. And she would come out, "Mom, he won't stop talking. He won't leave." He goes, "I can't go to sleep." And I was like, "Tell him it's bedtime and you have to go to sleep and he has to go to bed." So she'd go in and she's like, "You have to go to sleep. I have to go to bed. You have to leave." And so I went in a little bit later and checked on her and she's like, "Yeah, he's gone. He went to bed too." So I'm like,
Oh,
okay.
good.
It's like you just got to let them know that, it's bedtime and everybody's got to go to
Yeah.
sleep. But just
Yeah.
it was just very the spirits that run around in my house are just very, they're calm. They're not hateful. They're not hurtful. They're just passing through sometimes. I had a gentleman one time. I was in my bedroom getting dressed for work, and I looked into the master bedroom of my bedroom, and I seen this gentleman walking from the shower in by the toilet, and he was just walking by, and I'm like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "Can I help you?" And then he just disappeared out of nowhere. I mean, he appeared for one and then disappeared, and then he's gone. And it was the craziest thing. So I'm thinking, where did he come from? Because it just seemed like he was in regular street clothes, like a flannel shirt, jeans, clean cut hair, little ball cap, just taking a stroll through my bathroom. And I'm like, okay, if you need something, I'm not sure what you need, but there you go. I seen you. So
Yeah.
yeah, just little things like that are kind of interesting. And then I heard my mom, and this is just what, 2 days ago? What is today? Sunday.
Today is the
So Friday, I think it
16th.
was Friday. Yeah, I think it was Friday. Anyways, I am in the midst of waking up, so I'm not quite awake, but I'm not all the way asleep. So I'm laying in bed and I'm just comfy and cozy. And then all of a sudden I hear my name just blurted. I mean, like, "Hey, Wendy." And I'm like, "What?" It's like, "I hear you, Mom. What are you doing?" And then I hear this man's voice yelling, "Wendy." And I'm like, "What is this? I don't know who this person is." And because it doesn't sound like anybody I know, it's just a male's voice calling out my name. So I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know who this is. So a friend of mine, Shane Smith, who does psychic reading, I got with him And he was explaining that it was my mom, which I knew that, but it was also my uncle, my mom's brother, who had passed before my mom. And they have just been buddies and they're just like hanging out, looking at people, watching, and just having a good time on the other side. So I'm like, well, I'm glad you're having fun.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, she's visiting. She actually popped in on my son when he was driving and he was going to work and my mom pops in the back seat and it's like, he's like, you can't do that. You scared me. It's like, you gotta let me know when you're gonna pop it. You just can't do that. I'm gonna wreck. So it was kind of interesting to see that my son is actually, seeing mom also. So just different
Yeah.
things, and you just open up and let it in, and
Yeah.
wow,
I've
it's
had the
fun.
communication with mom through my pendulum. So, I mean, I've been kind
Fantastic.
of chatting with her through that a bit.
Good.
And but I haven't really had any really
Visual.
strong visuals.
Yeah.
But I've had
Yeah.
signs like last year. Okay, so to let everyone know, she passed away 2 years ago yesterday. So she's
Yeah.
kind of on our minds right now. But and her birthday was on the 6th. So she's just kind of recent
Very
with
present. Yeah.
very present right now with all of us. And last year I was driving home and I was like, okay, this is the day before your birthday. I know, but if you could at least give me a sign that when you're around so I could say happy birthday,
Right.
for tomorrow when it was really your birthday, I would appreciate that, just to let me know any sign of like a birthday, anything with a birthday. I get home and I start looking at my phone and was checking out Facebook, blah blah. And first picture that pops up was this great big huge birthday cake. It filled the screen and it had fairies on it. It was all purple, which is, mom. And
Yep.
it was just perfect. So it's like, oh, well, happy birthday, mom. I know you're with me. So that was really cool.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
fun. It is fun when you do get those signs from them, and they're present with you. Whether you're seeing the signs, hearing the signs, just knowing they're there with you. I was doing some journaling and I felt the whole room that I was in just full of spirits, and it's just like the family members that I passed. It just filled the room with so much love and just so much presence of them being there that you just kind of cry a little bit because it's like it's very touching, and it's personal, and you just I don't know, it's just amazing to just be able to feel that love and know that they're still with you, and you're not alone. You're just not alone.
No,
So,
they're just always with
yeah,
us. So it was pretty awesome to have that feel and to just know and
it is.
you know
You just
it's
know.
awesome.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
just know. So,
Yeah. So do you have any other experiences you can
gosh, let me think. Let me think. Oh, okay. Here's something fun. Today, this morning, we decided that we are gonna go and get out of the house, do something fun. So we went bowling this morning. Um, the last game that we were on, okay, let me back up a little bit. My mom used to bowl. She was on leagues. She enjoyed bowling. She just had a good time. So we were on our fourth game and we get to the 10th frame, and when you get a strike, you get to do it again. And
uh,
so I threw the ball down, I hit a couple pins, and I'm like, all right, this is it. I turn around and up on the screen where your score is at, it said strike. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Mom's here giving
nice.
me a strike so I can do this one more time. So I turned around and I threw the other ball and I got a strike there. And I'm like, you got to be kidding.
Wow.
This does happen. And then so I threw the third ball in. Of course, I kind of guttered. I'm not a very good bowler, but I do have fun. But it was
Yeah.
like I knew that was mom with me because she loved bowling. And for
Mhm.
her to give me that strike so she can have one more throw down there, I just knew it was her. So, and that happened today. So there you go. I mean,
That's
oh,
awesome.
so much fun, especially
Yeah.
when you get to play with spirit like that and just know that, they're having fun with you. And it's almost like, hey, thanks for letting me bowl again. And so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. A while back, well, 2 years ago, 2 years ago, right after mom had passed, and I was at work, to let everyone know, I really haven't cried for mom since she
Hmm.
passed. It seems kind of weird, but at the same time, I just know she's with us and things are all good. So it kind of seems weird, but it seems natural for me. But, anyways,
Yeah.
I'm sitting there at work and I'm watching this documentary of the Beach Boys. And they're in a concert and they look down, the camera looks down in the audience, and there's this fan that was down there and she's all dancing around and everything. And she gives this big smile. And when she did that, I dropped my jaw. My eyes, I'm sure, got really big. And I'm just like, oh my. And I went back, I replayed it, and I even got a snapshot of that scene.
Hmm.
And then I went and I searched for a picture of mom and I put them side by side. I think I showed you this one, but to let the audience know, I put the picture side by side. And if you know my mom and her when she was younger, it was a spitting image of my mom in that movie. It was so unbelievable. I thought for sure that was my mom in the movie.
Hmm.
And this was like just a few days after she passed. And it was
Yeah.
just incredible what this lady looked like. I mean, she had the hair, the curl just like my mom's, and her smile was like I did. You can vouch for me, Wendy, that
Yeah.
because
It
you know the
was, it
picture.
was weird
It,
because you're like, did she just pop into this Beatles video?
I
Yeah,
know, yeah,
it was crazy.
it was absolutely crazy, and I'm just like, wow, no, wow, what? It's like, oh, mom is here with me,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that was just a couple days after her passing. But yeah, it's just amazing how they come
We,
through.
yeah, we have to remember too that there is no time,
Hmm.
so she could have just went back in, well, for us, go back in time, but really she's just jumping in time and just being there and doing her dance and just enjoying the music and having a good time and she knew you were gonna watch this, so you know,
Yeah.
who's to say that she just popped in and said, what would have been crazy if she gone like, hey, Dana.
Okay, that's too much.
And then you're like, whoa.
That could have
Right?
happened, but
Could have,
wow.
but you don't want to get too weird. But yeah, that would have been kind of
Yeah.
cool to be, just to know that, that could possibly happen.
Yeah.
But
And also to go along with that one, it's been a few years also for this one, but I and my husband love to sit outside and look at the clouds and see what we see in the clouds.
right,
We've always
right.
enjoyed doing that. And there was a time when we were out there and I took this picture and because it was like, oh my. And I'm like, I got to check this out. So I sent this picture to Wendy and I go, who does this remind you of? And you said,
Mom. It was mom.
no,
No, grandma. That was grandma. Yeah, that was that
grandma,
picture of grandma. Yeah,
grandma. So it
yeah.
was crazy enough. So I went searching for a picture of my grandma and I pulled them up together like I did with mom in this
Yeah.
movie. I pulled them up and put them side by side and grandma in the photograph of grandma,
Hmm.
she was looking the same direction,
Yeah.
same profile. It was absolutely a mirror image.
Yeah, it was crazy because when you sent me that, I'm like, no way. Like
Yeah.
that is so grandma. Yeah.
The cloud was grandma and she
Yeah.
was looking down upon us. And it was just,
Yeah.
it's crazy how this
It
stuff works, but
was.
I just so love it. I so
Yeah.
love it.
So funny that just reminded me when we were driving home from bowling and we've come back to the house, I smelt cigarettes. And I
Mm.
looked at my husband. I'm like, you smell that? You smell that cigarettes? And he's like, no. And I'm like, Mom's in the car with us. She's going along with us. So
Yeah.
who's to say if you've seen an orb flying by, it might be Mom, you know?
It might be mom. You might see it in the background.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah,
yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
it's amazing because nothing's lost. It's all just in a different dimension, but she's still here. The rest of the family's here. It's still love in the air. So
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. That is very, very awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, um, any other stories that you could think of?
Let me think. Um, Nothing that's coming to mind right now.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well, I will
just
let you
know
get,
love. Yeah, I was gonna say,
go
just
ahead.
know that loved ones are always with you. Even if they're on the other side, they're still with you and they watch over you. They're always there with you. So if you feel like they're not there, just call their name and just be quiet, be present, open yourself up, and just feel for them. And you might get a vision, you might get a cool chill, you might get a warm feeling, or just knowing that they're there. So don't give up. Loved ones are with you. So
Yeah. They're never gone. They're always
never
here.
done. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for being on the show, and thank you for telling us about your journey and where
Yeah.
you've how you've come so far with it. And we'll see if we could get you some business with Reiki. And
All right. Well, if anybody wants to contact me, my email address is Wendy, which is WINDY at reikibywendy.com.
all
So
right. And we'll put that in the notes below.
thank
And
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
of course. And so if anyone out there have any stories of paranormal or supernatural or any experiences you want to share, uh, feel absolutely free to give me an email at lighttalk423@gmail.com. And while you're at it, click on the like, share, and subscribe buttons.
Right.
And we will chat with everyone later. Thanks for being with us.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.